What's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. Another episode edition, installment of Free Thinkers. Time ran up on me quick. I was just doodling, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shoot, it's after 8:05. For those who tuned in, thank you again for watching. And for another week, my partner in crime, Nicki, is gonna be out. And I'm tired, but I want to stay consistent. So I am going to I'm gonna do a condensed version of Free Thinkers. Now, the only thing that might change it is depending on the type of participation I get and who comes in and joins with me, then the conversation might go a little bit longer. But me, myself, I don't think I need to go past 30, 45 minutes. And you know what? I don't even know exactly what I'm gonna talk about, but I do know that last week when I was on, I had different things loaded up, like from pick a post and things that I wanted to talk about, and I only got to about half of it. So I'm gonna still see what I got queued up, and I'm gonna talk about that, as well as I got to find on a previous show I did. I love doing ethical questions, ethical slash philosophical situational ethics, things like that. I love doing that. So I'm gonna see if I usually have questions just sitting around from wherever. So I'm gonna see if I can pull up some of those and we can have a conversation about that. Keep in mind, guys, if you're watching from YouTube, you can always go to our Free Thinkers page. If you, the Free Thinkers page on our Facebook. Go to Facebook, and you can always find the link for StreamYard. If you've never been on StreamYard before, it's very easy. Just click on the link. Once you click on the link, it'll give you a couple instructions. It'll put you in the waiting room. Make sure you got either some earbuds and you just got a decent place where you could talk, and you're right in there. It's if you've done Zoom before, StreamYard is actually much easier to get on than Zoom. So if you haven't done it before, try it, and don't hesitate just because you've never done something before. Take the opportunity to learn something new, experience something new, something that you haven't done before, right? So keep in mind that these conversations are always adult content. Since it's me, it probably won't just me. It probably won't be adult language, but it could be. But it probably won't, but it could be. So always keep that in mind. Make sure you are aware of your surroundings. I don't pull punches when it comes to the content of what we're talking about. I try to watch my language for the most part. But you know, what I talk about is what I talk about, just life stuff. Make sure that you've shared and subscribed to the page. If you can't get on live, hit us up in the comment section. I really appreciate everyone who puts the comments in and gives us input, and we will read them live and we'll talk about it as well. And speaking of, usually this is the time when I'm going to do some sharing of my own. So give me half of 30 seconds. I have a few groups that I participate in, and I also share it to those groups because I think it's some things interesting. So I'm a part of the Black Podcast Support Network, also Black Podcast Network. And if you ever have ideas, go to some of these podcasts. Like I said, Black Podcast Network, Black Podcast Support Network. And if you don't know exactly what to do, because I coach people a lot of times on how to do podcasts, it's always good to watch what other people are doing. You can pick and take certain things from them, as far as, oh, okay, I like the background, I like the setup, I like the format that they're using. And then it also equally as important is you finding out things that you don't want to do. And this is another thing that I'll say as well. If you ever are watching a podcast, this is important. If you're ever watching a podcast and about 2 or 3 minutes in, you like, this is boring. Before you switch away and do something else, like you might be doing right now, right? Ask yourself, why is this boring? Why is this not grabbing my attention? Is it just purely subject matter? What the things that they're talking about don't interest me? Or could it be just the certain way that they go about? Are they dragging out certain topics too long? Are they the interaction between people who are talking? Is it not enough dialogue? Is it too much a group of people who speak monologues? You see that sometimes. Do you feel that they're holding back? Sometimes people, they're busy trying to sound good, but at the same time, you're not being vulnerable, expressive, transparent enough. Like, ask yourself, why is it that this doesn't interest me? And once you ask yourself, and if you come to the conclusion of why you don't like it, then that gives you more ammunition, study material for you to say, all right, let me make sure that I stay away from this. Let me make sure that, I don't allow one person to go off for 7 minutes straight to where it kills the conversation and everybody else is kind of standing there. What else? It could be a lot of things, but just ask yourself, why is it that it's not interesting to me? That's very important. So you'll know what to stay away from. You don't want to watch something that's not interesting and then you turn around and do the same thing. That's stupid. You got to learn from other people's mistakes. I think I shared this everywhere that I want to share it. Another thing, you know what? I'm gonna save this for another time. Maybe if I happen to be on by myself next week. I've been talking about giving one-on-one lessons on how to start up a podcast. So I'm gonna probably break it up into two, because one is two separate things. One is how to start a podcast, and then there's another one I want to do on how to moderate a group, whether you're doing a podcast, talk show, a group setting like we used to do down in the basement. I have notes. I have full page of notes in a tutorial on how and what to do, and what to observe, what to pay attention to when you're doing it. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. If not, I was thinking about putting together like a mini master class on that. I for people who want, because this is what I thought about. I love just giving information away, giving nuggets, really helping people, especially I do that. But then on the flip side, I'm about 15 years deep on this. Like the information and the knowledge that I have, there was a lot of trial and error that went on for me to gain the knowledge that I have to be able to operate and help other people. And I'm like, should I just give that game away for free? Well, man, when I'm talking about, and see, that's the thing of, I have to start making sure that I'm establishing my value. I ain't saying I'm doing a $100 masterclass. I might do a $5 masterclass, like mini masterclass, $5. You just cash at me $5. We're gonna set up a time and I'm gonna run through some of this stuff with you. But if it's valuable, then I need to place value on it. So it's not even about the money, it's about the principle of establishing the value of your words. I don't know. Tell me if that makes sense to you. But I'm still thinking about it. I don't know. Definitely leave your comments. So let me see. I don't know what I did with my ethical questions, but let me see first. And see, I'm like 10 minutes in already. But I'm still gonna stop early though. I'm going to see if there's anything from last week that I did not discuss. I got a couple of freeze pictures, and I got a lot of videos. All right, so let's go through some of these, and I'm trying to find the ones that I did not and there is too little. I can't see. All right, let me just open
men
it
or
up.
Women. If women are more easily bored, why are they more likely to want marriage and commitment?
Status.
If women are strong and independent and don't need no man, why does the pressure of marriage and commitment typically come from women?
They're liars.
Whoa, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me get my notes. I gotta unpack this real quick. Hold on. We're gonna watch this one more time.
Men or women?
Women.
If women are more easily bored, why are they more likely to want marriage and commitment?
Status.
If women are strong and independent and don't need no man, why does the pressure of marriage and commitment typically come from women?
They're liars.
See, that's why I hate this type of stuff. So I don't have the time to go all the way into this, but let me, as free thinkers, turn your ears up. Let me put you up on some game. We're gonna do some politician type exercises. Number one, you see how he built those blocks on top of each other. Be very careful to this or that. Well, if this is this, then why is this? And if they do that, then why is this? So you're building on top of knowledge that may or may not be correct. You want to be careful about answering leading questions. See, because people are real good at that. They'll give you a leading question, and then once they lead you into the direction, salesmen are very good at this. Once they lead you into the direction that you that they want you to go in, then they can bring you to a false conclusion. Now, I don't know what this one was talking about, but whenever someone asks you a question that's either or and neither answer is the best answer, or the answer that sometimes people try to give you make you answer something simply or plainly. Is it this or that? If the question is more complex than a pure this or that answer, don't answer the question. Okay? Let me tell you that. Don't answer the question. You know, who are the bigger cheaters, men or women? Okay, that could be a complicated question. Now, they forced you into a man or woman thing. Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe it's a race thing. Maybe it's a situational thing. Just because a person only gives you an A or B to choose from and pick, that doesn't mean you should pick it. I'm talking to free. This is some basic free thinker stuff right here. Because what you've done, that person, all right, here we go. The person who asked these questions has stripped or constricted your ability to think freely when they say, is it this or is it that? Maybe it's both, maybe it's neither. Maybe it's sometimes one, maybe it's sometimes the other. Do not answer a question that's an either or if there should be other, C, D, all of the above, none of the above. You dictate the answer for yourself before you answer someone else's question, because if you don't, then you can be led into, you can be led down a road that really doesn't represent your true thoughts. So I don't even know what to think about this. That's just what made, even though I didn't even directly address that clip, it made me think of that. Like, why is it either or? And then they say, well, if such and such and such and such and such is this, then I learned to get away from that. You get caught up like that, and then next thing you know, well, Q said all women are liars. Like, I didn't say that. But if you answer those either or questions, you end up getting yourself trapped. I'm gonna watch this one more time. Let me see.
Men or women?
Women.
If women are more easily bored, why are they more likely to want marriage and commitment?
Status.
If women are strong and independent and don't need no man, why does the pressure of marriage and commitment typically come from women?
They're liars.
And you see that how they throw that in there? If women are independent and don't need no man, then what? That's a hell of an if. So first of all, you have to believe that statement is true. Somebody just threw a statement on you, attached to you, and asked you to give an answer to why that is. Do you believe all women are independent and they don't need no man? Don't fall for the clickbait. And I'm giving basic conversational tips on how to control your thoughts, your narratives to be a free thinker. So I watched it. That's what it made me think of. Because as far as her, I disagree. I don't think maybe the people that she know or the things that she watch is focused on status. I think everybody gets bored in relationships. And I think it's a much more complicated thing than to say, if they're independent, they don't need no man, they're liars. That's only if you believe that all women take that viewpoint. So that was interesting. I want to do some more free thinker classes on how to dissect conversations and debates, how to notice and observe trigger words, trigger phrases, people who pay attention to how what's the word I'm looking for, how conclusions are deduced. Let's see, that's stuff that interests me. I think you know what I think about that. I think that's one area that we need to start focusing on. I want us to grow and evolve. As free thinkers, I want us to all grow and evolve. So, okay, let me see what else I had recorded on here. And all of this stuff came from Free Thinkers, the Facebook page. Let me see if I don't know what this is.
Like, why am I going to college? I'm getting A's and B's, and this nigga got C's.
All right, let me ask you this. Would you rather have a high-profile job for no pay or clean sewers for $100,000 a year?
I would clean sewers if it's more money.
Okay. Do you think most women would choose to do that?
I don't know what most women choose. I'm talking about me.
Okay, no, I get that, but I'm saying I've interviewed hundreds of women, and most women actually would not choose a dangerous, dirty job. Is that possibly why a lot of women get paid less? Why do we have the expression, that's a man's job?
Because certain things are a man's job. Because it's like, why gotta take the trash out if there's a man in the house?
Right, so I'm just saying...
Or lift heavy things.
Well, is it fair to say if you want equal privileges, you need equal responsibilities?
No, I want... Why is responsibility...
Because you gotta
trying to get equal pay.
Because you gotta take the bad with the good.
Why extra shit if I can't... Why can't I have equal pay?
Don't you have to take the bad with the good?
No, you do not. We should have equality, period. You see what I mean? You know what I mean?
I don't know what that means.
Listen, that music was confusing me. I'm like, is this 300? Is this Gladiator? Why? That music was so unnecessary. I'm like, is this about to be an epic war? So I think that clip was about equal pay between women and men. You know what? I'm gonna watch this one more time. Catch a couple of notes. Tell me what you think. Leave it in the comments.
Why am I going to college? I'm getting A's and B's, and this nigga got C's.
All right, let me ask you this. Would you rather have a high-profile job for no pay or clean sewers for $100,000 a year?
I would clean sewers if it's more money.
Okay. Do you think most women would choose to do that?
I don't know what most women choose. I'm talking about me.
Okay, no, I get that, but I'm saying I've interviewed hundreds of women, and most women actually would not choose a dangerous, dirty job. Is that possibly why a lot of women get paid less? Why do we have the expression, that's a man's job?
Because certain things are a man's job. Because it's like, why gotta take the trash out if there's a man in the house?
Right, so I'm just saying...
Or lift heavy things.
Well, is it fair to say if you want equal privileges, you need equal responsibilities?
No, I want... Why is responsibility...
Because you gotta take...
trying to get equal pay.
Because you gotta take the bad with the good.
Why extra shit if I can't... Why can't I have equal pay?
Don't you have to take the bad with the good?
No, you do not. We should have equality, period. You see what I mean? You know what I mean?
I don't know what that means.
That ain't complicated. You know what? I think a lot of people, when they do those interviews, they do it specifically for the purpose of creating conflict. And how do we get to the point where we complicate simple stuff? So are there man jobs and woman jobs? No. There's capable jobs and jobs that you're incapable of. So if there's a job that requires a certain physical demand that a woman's not able to complete, then okay, that will qualify as a man's job. In the same way that it will qualify as an able-bodied job. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of jobs that it's not going to be for everyone. If you're a paraplegic, then you can't be on highway patrol for the sheriff's office. Like you can't ride a motorcycle, be a motorcycle police if you're paraplegic. Some jobs you're just not able-bodied to do. You can't be a lifeguard if you don't know how to swim. Like it's certain things that if you're not qualified or able to do, either because of physical limitations or whatever the case, you're just not able to do it. Now, with that being said, let's talk about equal pay. The question is, it was very simple. A job that both parties, men or women, can equally be successful, they can equally succeed in, they can equally excel in. They should get paid the same amount. Like it's not complicated at all. If you're working in an office, you're doing sales or you're doing some type of marketing, they should get paid the same amount. There's no special marketing or things that requires your mind or your mental or verbal skills or social skills. If two qualified people should make the same amount, regardless. There should not be two equally qualified person and one person makes less than the other. Now, let me say this real quick. Because one of the conversations that we keep hearing about is equal pay between men and women. Let me just say this. What's up, Nicki? Now, just like I said, equal pay should be qualified for both men and women in the same position. That doesn't go completely across the board. When we get into the arena of sports and athletes, keep in mind what we're talking about in athletics, especially professional athletics. We're talking about entertainment, and professional means you get paid to do it, right? So in the areas where it comes to athletics, you're equally talking about entertainment. So you can be good, you can be great, you can be well qualified, you can have been studying and training since you was 5 years old. From an entertainment aspect, if the sport or the skill that you practice does not demand the same amount of money for the viewership and for commercials and for people who want to watch it on TV, you don't deserve to make the same amount of money. So for instance, the WNBA, yes, many of them are highly skilled, better than us playing basketball, any random person you grab off the street. They're highly trained, they went to college, they've been playing since they were children, and they're good. But that sport, from an entertainment standpoint, does not demand or command the same amount of money when it comes to viewership, commercials, ratings, so forth. So how do you think a WNBA player should get paid the same as a male NBA player when if I go to a professional basketball game. The last game I went to was Laker game when I went to California, and I paid for a mid-range seat. I paid about $280 for one ticket on the deal. Now, if I go to a WNBA game, then I can get floor seats for $45. And the same seat that I had in the NBA game, I paid $280 from. In that same spot, I'd pay probably about $18 to $20. So if you're not, from an entertainment standpoint, if you're not bringing in the same amount of money, then you can't demand that you make the same amount. It's entertainment, and what you bring in is going to affect how much you could or should make. Now, the only exception that I do make is when it comes to sports. When it comes to Olympics, in the Olympics, I believe that men and women should get paid the same, because a gold medal is a gold medal. And if you're not doing it for pay, you're doing it primarily to represent the country. And if the country wants to bring gold medals, and if you're properly representing the country, then you should get paid. If professional players get paid to go to the Olympics, men and women should get paid the exact amount. So that's where I draw the line when it comes to sports, entertainment, and just drawing power. Now, let's play around with this a little bit. Because now let's think about like Monique. Was Monique right or wrong when she boycotted Netflix about doing her comedy special? I'd have to ask this is what I want to know. From when it comes to concerts, when it comes to shows, how much money is Monique pulling in? How much money can she demand when she does shows? So Kevin Hart packed out Madison Square Garden. Did Monique, is she packing out stadiums? Basketball stadiums, football stadiums? Like, where is her audience, and how much are they willing to pay? Because that's also a direct reflection of how much Netflix feel like they should give you. And on top of that, if you have no other leverage, then what else are you going to do? So what I'm saying is, you can't get mad at Netflix when you have no other platforms willing to even pay you the amount that Netflix is. I don't, you know what? Tell me what y'all think about that. Now, I will say every male comedian is not packing out stadiums like Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle or other people. So my curiosity would be, the same people who do the same type of numbers as Monique or other female comedians, I wonder how much are they getting paid for their Netflix specials. I'm curious about that. And you said I went back. And why do you think that is? Why do I think what is? I don't know. I might have got too far past you. Why isn't maybe that's what maybe that's what you were talking about. Why isn't the NBA as big as the NBA? Okay, good question. Number one, the NBA has been around for 75 years. The WNBA, which is being funded by the NBA, has been around for approximately 20 to 25 years. They have only been established for less than a third of the time as the NBA. So it takes time to grow. So do you know, if you go back to when the NBA was 25 years old, just like the WNBA is, do you know how much money the NBA players were making? Not a lot. Most of them, the NBA was a part-time job. 25 years into the league, most NBA players still had main jobs. This was like their summer occupation, and they had main jobs. Same thing with football. You go back to the 70s, and most football players were still bagging groceries in the off season. So sometimes when people just see the NBA and they see their success, they automatically assume that the WNBA should have the same success because they're both on TV. Now, let me make some people mad. Can I make some people mad? Yep, I'm gonna do it. That's number one. Number two, men are more athletic. I guess that is number two. The second part, men are more athletic and men can dunk. Now I know you say women can dunk. It's a rare one-off when a woman dunks and is, usually by herself. They're not banging on people, and it's not the same. It's two different sports. I'll put it like that. Just because of the way men play, they play above the rim. They're physically able to jump higher, run faster. But even still, to tell you the truth, it's almost the same as, let me say it like this, like if you ever watch the NBA versus college men's basketball, they're both playing basketball, but the way that the game is played is two totally different ways. If you watch an NBA game and a college men's game, the way it's played is two totally different things. It's much more of zone defense, trapping, a lot of ball movement. You're still using a lot of post, down low, post, in and out. The game looks completely different. And the NBA has made it to where it's more appealing for, they've made a more appealing brand to the average viewer. So that's number two. So number one, they've been around longer. Number two, physically, men are more able, and the game itself is different. Now, to tell you in all honesty, I'll be honest, I enjoy watching the WNBA. For pure basketball watchers, enjoy the WNBA more than the NBA, because you're really incorporating the team element in there. You really, the picks that set and the ball movement and you really got to play the game the right way, and you just can't use your physical abilities to overcome everything. Now let me get to the part that's gonna make y'all mad. WNBA players, they don't want to get sexy. Why? Why are your shorts in a WNBA game? WNBA players should not have their shorts down to their knees. Your short, it should look like Magic Johnson and the Lakers back in the 80s, where the shorts go all the way up. That's how they should look. And what the funny thing is, now y'all can get mad at me if y'all want to, but pay attention to this. Since the NIL has come in, and if people don't know, NIL is name, image, likeness, which allows college players to profit off of their name. Now, most of that, we talk about that in football, college football, because college football players are now allowed to get paid, and how much they get paid is starting to decide which college are they going to. But that goes across the board to all college players. So the young ladies from LSU who won the championship earlier this year, their top players, they got NIL. So they're getting paid from the university. They can also gain endorsements. I saw one of the young ladies who she was in a commercial I just seen a couple days ago. So and what I've been hearing is a lot. There's more money to make in college women basketball than there is in the WNBA. But this is what I'm going to say though. Now, if you pay attention to the young ladies, when they step on that court, they got the hair did, They're coordinating the outfits. They got their lashes done. They have high shorts. I ain't saying like, you running around in the thong, but you're showing your figure and your form off. They got the legs showing. Like if I had a pit, I'll pull the picture up if I had a picture that I could pull. They getting sexy because listen, we know there's money to be made. And if there's money to be made by you just being more appealing to the opposite sex, then that's what you're going to do. Now, see, and this is the other thing that nobody's going to talk about. It's been said by WNBA players themselves that probably a minimum of 75% of the WNBA players are gay. Now, does that make a difference? No, don't make no difference. But what it does make a difference is who are you trying to attract to come to these games? And if you want to attract, if you want to bring certain attraction to the game, and maybe you say, hey, that's the wrong reason for you to be attracted to our sport. Okay, maybe. But also, you might not make the same amount of money. You have to know how to market your game. And that's the same you talking about WNBA. Forget about women's football. I have a girl I grew up with that's been playing professional football for well over a decade, and they not making money off of that. So, it just I don't know. I just look. That's just my thoughts. That's my thoughts. Let me see some of this stuff. I'm gonna go down, make sure I get it. Oops, I ain't been looking at these, Nicki. It's women. The owners of everything always felt superior. The lack of importance to market the WNBA versus the NBA. They don't broadcast nearly as many highlights from there's not as many highlights from the WNBA, Nicki. Okay, so let me say it like this. Especially coming up, like when the WNBA started in the 90s, I believe it started early 90s. Think about the ESPN Sports Center. Do you know what the highlights look like? The highlights was 80% of men's basketball. Somebody steal the ball, they go down and dunk it. They're going to show you all of the dunks, and they're going to show you like the last two shots at the end of the game that determine the outcome. That's the highlights that people show. Now, in the new Steph Curry age, then they show people if they, hit 5 or 6 threes, but the highlights were the athletic feats that the average person couldn't do. And what are those feats in women's basketball? You could just show the game itself, but it ain't no real highlights to that. So maybe I'm making some enemies right now. You said he said the LSU girls got me interested in. You're going to see a lot more of that as far as how they operate, and when people know that they can make money, and the younger ladies, they're so connected into social media. They know how social media works. They know how algorithms work. They know how viewership works. They know how monetization from these platforms work. So when you got a couple million followers on Instagram, they know that that's going to get them paid. It's two different things. He said Facebook user said they was almost as important as the NBA in the 90s versus today. I don't know what happened. They did have a run, especially when the Houston the crazy thing is the Houston Comets was the first women's WNBA dynasty, and Houston don't even have a team anymore. That's like messed up. Like one of the original teams that had the most success is not even in existence anymore. And you know the leagues merged also. That kind of, you know, they had the WNBA and then they had the, I forgot what it was called. What to say? Versus school, getting everything as well as free education. Yeah, that's stupid. You probably just rather watch men play. Hey, let me tell you something. Yeah. Oh, okay. Nicki, thank you for that. So say, yeah, women's lingerie league. They turned around, they called it the Legends League later. I don't know if any of y'all was in Austin. Austin, before the pandemic, had a women's lingerie football league. And they would play at the Cedar Park Center. Man, let me tell you, I used to go to them games, and those games were full of men and women. But it was a lot of men that was there also. It was women there, but it was women there with they dudes, but it was a lot of men there. And they was really playing football. It wasn't no cute, exhibition. They were serious and they were for real. It was you seen real competition playing in those games. Now, the funny thing is, I also went to a women's football game that wasn't lingerie league. It wasn't indoor arena league, and they had very little clothes on. They were fully padded and clothed, just like men are football. Wasn't as many people. It wasn't as many people showing up to them games. That's all I can tell you, man. It just wasn't as many people showing up to them games. Sad truth. And let's be honest. If there has to be a higher level of entertainment if there's a lower level of competition or production. So, like I said, let's go back to women's tennis. Now, a woman tennis player can't compete with a man, but the entertainment value of women's tennis is right at the same level. Even though they're not as physically gifted as men when it comes to tennis, the entertainment part of it is right there. It's just as good. And you see a lot of women tennis players get paid much better than women in other sports. Now, for those of you who, y'all watch Serena, you watch Venus, you watch some of these other women tennis, very entertaining. I will watch I would watch Serena before I'd watch the men play. Now, if you ever watch the men play, you still watching two different things. Most of y'all have not watched men tennis because there's not a lot of strong American tennis players as there are in the different areas as of recent. So people don't get the same coverage in America, but the men they different. You talk about some athletic feats going on over there. Okay, so once again, I'm 45 minutes in. I'm gonna give myself another 5-10 minutes. I ain't get to none of my ethical questions, and I don't even know. Oh, I think that's the one I've seen. I did this one already. It looks like I'm not gonna play it.
Left the restaurant after waiting 30 minutes for Dave to show up, and apparently I got stood up.
Doing that again. I ain't doing that again. I talked about him and Najee already. Let me see if we got another one. I need to delete these things out.
Thank you. Oh, I feel better.
That's the girl who haven't heard much about that. The girl who supposedly got hit by a brick in Houston and was out there trying to get the GoFundMe stuff. I haven't heard much about that story since then. I wonder how much, you know what? I'm curious. I'm going to check and see how much money did she actually get from that. For those who, I'm not even going to get into that story, but yeah, she shouldn't get hit with a brick. But she's, hopefully she got the money that she was looking for. Let me see if there's another one that I have not done yet. What is
Then
this
think of a
one?
celebrity that matches the rating that you give yourself.
Did that one last week. Okay.
What?
The home of the Whopper is offering cash or credit.
I think it's pretty bad if you have to use a credit card when you go to a fast food restaurant for something as little as $3.10.
If I use my GM card, I get a 5% rebate.
Thank you.
If I eat here long enough, I'll be able to buy a pickup truck.
Burger King bosses say workers won't have to figure out how much change the customer gets back.
I just hope it doesn't slow things down at the cash and carry, that people are going to be having to call New York and get the confirmation or, you know, whatever it is, because when I want a Whopper, I want it now.
Just another way to spend money. I'm sure it'll work for people on vacation when they don't have to do something, but I can't imagine it working on a day-to-day basis here.
So far, the smallest credit has been for $2.50. The largest, just over 10. Jamie Costello, News Channel 2.
That was 1993. That crazy how people thought it was the craziest thing in the world that people were using credit cards to purchase their meals. What was you doing in 1993? Oh man. What was you doing in 1990? And this makes me think. Whenever I see stuff, a lot of times I'm not even paying directly to what's being said. It triggers something. It triggers different thoughts in me. So as crazy as a lot of people thought that was, like, this is insane, this is never going to work, who thought of such a dumb idea? I remember also when churches started to have, you know, the square cards and have different ways. At first they was trying to get ATMs where people could pull money out, but then they had, you know, cash cards and stuff like that, the squares where people could pay with the card, and people thought that was the craziest thing in the world. Like, wow, how dare you have credit cards and debit cards available? It's the one thing that I learned in sales is that change is constant. Anytime you get to a place to where you feel that things shouldn't change, you're going to get left behind. Never allow yourself to be that person to say, no, this is too much. No, it's gone too far. No, this is unnecessary. No, this will never work. It's going to go back to how it was. And listen, 99% of things that change do not go back to the way that they were, especially when you're dealing with technology. And you have to be cautious of this, especially as you proceed in age. As you get older, you reach back for nostalgia. You don't want things to change. And a lot of things in your mind they're perfectly fine the way that they were. In anything, do not get comfortable with things being the way. Everything is going to change. And you got to be ready to roll with it. The only thing I'd say you stand strong on is anti-violence and protecting children. Everything else gonna change. You want to look for equality? You want to protect children? You don't want the world to be violent. Everything around that, everything else gonna change. And Nicki, I'm just like with you. And now they want to go. When I go to I can't remember where I went to a restaurant. Maybe it was Subway or something. It was somewhere I went. And they're like, oh, we don't take cash. I thought about you, Nicki, because I know Nicki talked about, no, if they don't do cash, then I'm not eating at your restaurant. And I really feel like that because I know what they're trying to do when it comes to getting rid of cash altogether. And I just that's one of those fights that we're gonna lose. As much as I hate it, it's a fight that we're gonna lose. So instead of me fighting something that's the change is coming and the change is going to be permanent, and sooner versus later, there's gonna be no more cash. So you got to prepare for it. So certain things just, hey, I don't want to get stagnant in my mindset. I'm not gonna get left behind, and it's just gonna be it's just gonna be what it was. It said 93. Nicki was a freshman in 93. Where was I in 93? I think I was junior high. I think I was 7th, 8th grade. But yeah, that's weird. Like, so this is the other thing that I periodically do this. Said Jules, don't do that either. I'm really with y'all. It makes me sick when I see it. But so anyway, here's the other thing that it makes me think of too. And this is one of the mindsets that's propelled me forward in a lot of elements of my life. Just like those people that you saw in the clip didn't think it was going to last, didn't think it was going to work, thought it was a dumb idea. And now those same people, I'm sure they don't think twice about it. In the same like manner, what is it that I may think is dumb now? Or what is it that I think is stupid or unfair or shouldn't change? What are some of my blind spots that I have right now that I may view differently 20 years from now? Because I don't want to be the person that has those type of blind spots. I want to be forward thinking. I want to stay ahead of the curve. So just like I felt a certain way about LGBTQ rights. Once upon a time, I felt that way. And now I don't want to be the person 20 years from now who has to retract everything I said because I was short-sighted and ignorant and a bigot and whatever other name you want to. I mean, just, don't be that now. And that's one of the things to where I look at, like, what are some of the things that I need to correct my way of thinking now to stay ahead of the curve and prepare myself for the future. Not just because I'm trying to be trendy or go along with the crowd. It's because, like, what's your real reason for it? Like, some stuff we stand on, and we stand on it very strongly, but we don't have any real reasons for it. There's certain thing when it comes to sexuality. Why are you so opposed to how a person gets gratification? Now, if you have scientific reasons for it, then okay, we talk about it. It makes sense. But just your only thing is, well, procreation. You can't procreate with the same. At this point, really, do we care? Is that your real reason that you care about that? Because you want more people to be on this earth? Is that your real reason that you are against same-sex relationships? You feel that there needs to be more people on this earth? And let me ruffle some feathers since I'm on Free Thinkers. I know even from a religious standpoint, a lot of people are opposed to it because their religion is opposed to it. But how do you really feel about it? Do you really care? Are you really that repulsed by it? Do you really feel that these people are evil? Do you really how do you really feel about it? We talk about that in interracial dating. How do you really feel about it? Like, really, do you really care that much? And why do you care? And who told you to care that much? Where did these thoughts even come from? Like, you ask, and that you have to practice blocking out all of just the noise. It's always you be careful with social media. Be careful with your circle. be careful of your racist and prejudiced family that you grew up with, and that applies to white and black people, because black people got some twisted ways of thinking too, that will have you taking certain stances and you have no basis for it, and you want to stay away from that. Where am I at? 55. All right, well, I got back up to an hour already. So once again, I did not get to my ethical questions, but maybe we'll do that next week. I don't know. But guys, if you have any thoughts of topics or ideas, then let us know. We're always open to new stuff. I like talking about anything, especially those things I hadn't talked about in a while or thought about. So keep commenting in the feed, the Free Thinkers Facebook page. If you have not already, make sure you join the YouTube page as well. But hold on, let me, right before I get out of here. Facebook user said, the only thing that bothers me is behind the curtains racism. How do you know it if it's behind the curtains? But I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. You rather them be racist to your face. You know what? That's a good thought. I'm thinking about that because I mean, that could be a good topic down the road. I don't know how to present it, but like, how do you like, I don't know, maybe we could do like a what do you prefer? But like, and so I'm thinking about, like, would I prefer a person be racist behind the curtains, or would I prefer they be in my face about it? Not necessarily in my face, but be open with your racism. Because the question is, like, I prefer to know who I'm dealing with versus the passive shady stuff to where you can't tell anybody, you can't call a person out because then they act like, what I don't know, I didn't say anything, but I know what you did though. Well, I didn't say any, the passive stuff. Women, that's, if they would you prefer a man practice that passive misogyny, or would you rather they just be upfront about who they are and how? Because then the other argument is you also have the chance to have dialogue and actually come to some mutual understanding. The other person may have the opportunity to learn and to grow and to evolve. But I think that the passive stuff behind the curtains, that's the stuff that's going to linger for decades. And that's the stuff that you're going to teach to your kids later on down the road. And you get the generations of sickness. So, yeah, we might do a would you rather. Yeah, it works. That's what makes social media great. You can see the real them, even when, yeah, I like that. I do, man. Especially when all that George Floyd stuff was going on, I was just ignorant. I'm like, man, let's get all these snakes out in the open. The grass has been cut. I tell you what, Alton Sterling, Colin Kaepernick, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, boy, I tell you what, there was a lot of exposure going on for those years. I got to people that I did not know. I'm like, oh, I know now, and it is clear. People that I worked with, people in the church that call you brother this and brother that. I'm like, oh no, we ain't brothers. You can forget that. I do not associate with your kind. All right, I'm done talking. Until next week, y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later.